bins I heard you talking about. You would have noticed that after listening to last night and this morning, Mr. Linton is yet to say that he has made any inquiries of the Ministry of Finance or the Prime Minister's office or even the Rosewood Town Council to get the other side of the story. Well, I did.
Let me pause here. The other side of the story that he's talking about is actually the government side of the story, where Mr. Prime Minister went to Parliament and told the nation that he had spent $764,541 on garbage bins. He didn't bring that to the public. Mervyn Paul didn't bring that to the public. None of the handlers for the government brought that to the public. Lennox Linton was the one who brought that to the public from as far back as the 4th of October. The 4th of October, 2008. So Lennox Linton is no Johnny come lately on this one. Everybody's jumping on the bandwagon now trying to spin, but the original story came and emerged right here on Between You and Me, the 4th of October 2008.
And I called public officers who dealt with the issue, and this morning I will only respond to one issue, just one, until I get the documents. When the invoice was submitted to the government, it was $275,909. And if you look closely at the invoice, you will see no currency is stated. None. The accounting officer, the officer who dealt with it, thought it was in EC dollars, so she paid the $275,909 in EC. She was subsequently told by the company that the bill was in US dollars. And then she paid the difference between $275,909 EC dollars and $275,909,000 US dollars, which brought the total amount to 700 and something thousand EC dollars. Anybody at home calculate 275, multiply 275.909 by 2.75, you will get close to $700,000+. It is when the total value of the bins were calculated and paid by the government that the VAT was paid on that amount. So the suggestion that there is $500 and something thousand missing or defrauded is absolute total political mischief and nonsense, and Mr. Linton knows that once again he's misleading the country.
Stop here. Once again, Mr. Linton knows he's misleading the country. Now, let's ask the question. Look who is misleading the country now. Look who's misleading the country now. The Prime Minister agrees with me. The Prime Minister wants a refund. The Prime Minister says he's getting the refund. It means that we were overcharged. That's all we have said from day one. Mr. Astaphan talks about misleading the country.
I just want the listeners to hear that there's a valid explanation coming not from the Prime Minister, from politicians, but from public servants as to why there were two payments made, and that the 700,000+ EC dollars was in fact paid in the company's name, notwithstanding that the invoice had identified the person's name for payment. So when I get the documents today, I will respond more fully, both on this radio station and on the other, to the utter nonsense being disseminated by Mr. Linton.
All right, so that was the promise, to respond fully to the utter nonsense being disseminated by Mr. Linton 2 Mondays ago. Let me correct Tony Astaphan. There was no money paid to Logistical Supply Solutions Limited, Incorporated. The money was paid to an account number 5300752-184 at the Susquehanna Patriot Bank in Pottstown, Pennsylvania, the same account used by Andre Dopwell for receipt of payment for fertilizer sold to the Skerritt administration in February of 2007, when the brother of Andre Dopwell, Colin McIntyre, was the Minister of Agriculture. Now that's a whole separate issue. And we're going to come to that issue in the coming weeks, and we're going to ask the government, go ahead of me, come clean with the public, tell them what happened to the fertilizer question, because I will be disclosing details of that in the coming weeks.